Have you ever used a phone that made your eyes feel tired or gave you a headache and you couldn't figure out why? Well, it might be because of something called PWM or pulse width modulation, and Google may finally be fixing it in the upcoming Pixel 10 Pro. If you've been following Pixel phones for a while, you probably know that many users have complained about screen flicker and discomfort. That's because Pixel displays have used a lower PWM refresh rate than other top phones, which can be hard on the eyes, especially for people who are sensitive to screen flickering. Now, a new report says the Pixel 10 Pro will finally get a higher PWM rate, bringing it closer to what Apple and Samsung have already been offering for years. For example, both the iPhone 16 Pro and Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra use a 480 Hz PWM rate, which helps reduce eye strain. Up until now, Pixel phones have been stuck at around 240 Hz, which isn't ideal for sensitive users. Some Pixel fans even had to install software mods to work around it, but now, Google might be making the change directly. The catch: it looks like only the Pro model will get the upgrade. The regular Pixel 10 and even the Pixel 10 Pro Fold are expected to stay at 240 Hz, which means not everyone will get the same experience. Still, there's another improvement that might come to the entire Pixel 10 lineup: brighter screens. According to the report, the base Pixel 10 could hit 2000 nits of HDR brightness, up from 1800 nits. That's around a 10% increase. The Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL could go even higher, reaching 2250 nits, up from 2050 nits. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold might see 1850 nits on its main screen and 2050 nits on the cover screen. Now, keep in mind, these numbers are based on what's listed in the software. In the real world, brightness levels can be different depending on what you're watching and the phone's settings. Last year, for example, Google said the Pixel 9 Pro had a peak brightness of 3000 nits, so the actual performance might still be higher than what the software shows. If Google really follows through with these changes, it could be a big deal for Pixel fans, especially those who've been dealing with eye strain for years. A higher PWM rate would make the display more comfortable for longer use, and brighter screens help when you're outside in direct sunlight. But there's also room for criticism. If only some models get these upgrades, people buying the regular Pixel 10 or the foldable version might feel left out. Is being the thinnest foldable phone in the world really that important, or would you rather have better battery life and real improvements? That's the question people are starting to ask about Samsung's upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Galaxy Z Flip 7. A few weeks ago, there were whispers that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 could be thinner than anything we've ever seen before. Some rumors even said it might beat the current record holder, the Oppo Find N5. But now, with new leaked CAD files that are believed to be accurate, we finally have a clear picture, and it turns out Samsung is not going after the thinnest ever crown this time. Let's start with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. According to the leaked files, the Fold 7 measures 4.5 millimeters in thickness when unfolded. When folded, it becomes 9 millimeters thick. To give you some perspective, the Oppo Find N5 is 8.9 millimeters thick when folded, making it just slightly thinner than Samsung's latest. That means the Fold 7 misses the title by only 0.1 millimeter, which honestly won't be noticeable to most users. The phone's full unfolded dimensions are 158.43 by 143.14 by 4.5 millimeters. It also features a triple camera setup on the back, with each lens having its own metal ring placed on a vertical island. So from the design point of view, it still keeps that high-end look Samsung foldables are known for. Now let's talk about the Galaxy Z Flip 7. If you were hoping for a slimmer, sleeker design this year, you might be disappointed. The Flip 7 is 6.94 millimeters thick when opened, which is exactly the same as the Galaxy Z Flip 6. The overall size, based on the files, is 166.2 6.1 by 75.3 by 6.8 for millimeters. When you include the camera bump, the thickest point goes up to 9.17 millimeters. So there's no change in the flip's thickness this time around, but Samsung has made a more meaningful upgrade elsewhere. The Galaxy Z Flip 7 is expected to come with a 4,300 mAh battery, which is 300 mAh more than the 4,000 mAh battery in the Galaxy Z Flip 6. That may not sound like a huge jump, but in foldable phones where space is always tight, this is a solid improvement. Instead of focusing on making the phone thinner, Samsung chose to give users longer battery life, and that's something most people will feel every single day. Whether you're watching videos, taking photos, or just browsing the web, that extra battery capacity can make a real difference. It shows that Samsung is trying to balance form and function instead of just chasing record-breaking designs. Have you ever seen a brand launch a new phone that looks almost exactly like the last one and still manage to surprise everyone? That's exactly what Samsung is doing with the Galaxy M36, which is now officially confirmed to launch in India. On June 27th, the phone is a follow-up to the Galaxy M35, and while it doesn't bring big changes to performance or camera, there's one little design choice that has got people talking. Before we get to that, let's look at what Samsung is actually offering this time. First, Samsung says the Galaxy M36 will come in 3 colors: velvet black, serene green, and orange haze. Visually, the phone is thinner now, with a thickness of just 7.7 millimeters, which makes it about 15% slimmer than the Galaxy M35. That's a nice change for people who didn't like how bulky the last model felt. But inside, things are staying pretty much the same. The Galaxy M36 will have the same Exynos 1380 processor that was used in the M35. So, if you were expecting a major speed boost or new features, you might be a little disappointed. When it comes to cameras, Samsung is sticking with what worked before. The phone still features a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixels main sensor, an 8 megapixels ultra-wide lens, and a 2 megapixels macro camera. And on the front, there's the same 13 megapixels selfie camera as the M35. No changes there either. But one of the biggest questions people have is about the battery. The Galaxy M35 came with a massive 6,000 mAh battery, and many fans are hoping that Samsung will at least match that, if not go even bigger. So far, Samsung hasn't confirmed the battery size for the M36, which leaves us waiting to see if they've managed to fit that large of a battery into the slimmer frame. Now, here's the part that's causing a bit of debate: the display. Samsung has changed the front camera cutout from the Infinity U style, which is basically a hole punch, to an Infinity U shape, which looks like a small U at the top center. Some people think this makes the phone look outdated, while others don't really care because the screen quality is still the same. The panel is protected with Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, so you're still getting strong protection, even if the look has changed a bit. As for the price, Samsung hasn't given us exact numbers yet, but if they follow the same path as last year's model, the M36 will likely start at around 20,000 Indian rupees, which is roughly 230 United States dollars or 200 euros. The top model may go up to 24,500 Indian rupees or around 280 United States dollars. It will be available for purchase through Amazon India and Samsung's official website.